Yes, if you've just joined us, I'm Wendy Harmer, sitting in for Natasha Mitchell until Friday. Well, setting up a business when you're a young thing in your 20s is daunting. I guess it's right to be nervous. So many of them go belly up, don't they? But my next guest was particularly enterprising because she established her business when she was 29 years old, the mother of 3 very young children, and the year 1967. Dena Blackman needed help caring for her children. She couldn't find anyone to give her a hand, so she did it herself. She set up her own home help business and called it Dial an Angel, and tapped into a real need and went gangbusters from the get-go. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. It's the only national home care service to offer a range of home needs, including care for disabled children and adults, elder care, childcare. Dena, as I say, was very much ahead of her time. The business has just celebrated its 45th anniversary, and it remains in the family with Dena's daughter Danielle, now the CEO. So I would very much like to welcome Dena Blackman and Danielle Robertson to RN and Life Matters today. Hello.
Hello, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Well, Dena, this is amazing. As we say, 1967, you're the mother of 3 young kids and you start up a business. Do you look back now and think, I must have been, who was that woman?
I often think that, and when I look back over the years, the huge changes that have taken place for women particularly, it just stuns me, and it's like it was another person that did that, because it was sort of an involuntary situation. I was ill. We couldn't get help anywhere. I tried to talk all my friends into starting this business. And my husband turned around and said, look, Dena, do it yourself or shut up. I'm so sick of hearing about Dial an Angel.
Oh, that sounds like a typical bloke, doesn't it? You moan and moan and moan, and they come up with either do it or shut up about it.
Absolutely.
Isn't that true? Now, there's a lovely story you have here where you didn't have the money to start up this business, so you went off to your local bank manager.
On the advice of my 8-year-old daughter.
Well, of course.
It was an era when women didn't start their own businesses, or if they did, they had a dad that gave them the wherewithal. And I kept thinking, where can I get money from? My 8-year-old daughter turned around and said, we get money from the bank every Friday. She didn't realise child endowment came in once a fortnight or once a month, but she knew on Fridays we went to the bank. So I got to the bank and I thought, I'll see if the manager's in. Now, this was an era when women who were in the public service had to actually resign when they got married.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was really a big thing for me to front up to the bank manager and ask him for money. And he was charming. He looked at my ideas and he said, oh, Dena, what a wonderful idea. My wife Bunty would have loved this. Bank managers' wives are all over Australia. They don't know where they're going to be next. They have no family support. Now, I'll prepare all the documents, you take them home, get your husband or father to sign them.
Oh, there we go.
And I looked at him, stunned, and said, my father's been dead for 10 years. My husband's less than excited about the whole idea anyway. Can't you just lend it to me? He said, you have no income, no prospects, no property, all of those. No, I don't. He said, well, I'm sorry. And he's rolling up my ideas and tying it with the pink ribbon, and a light went on. And I said, how about you take my idea home to your wife and ask her what she thinks of it? So it was Bunty that started the business.
Hooray for Bunty! It's funny that you should say that. I was talking to I know that you were in the running for Telstra Businesswoman of the Year there, and I was talking to a lady who was a former winner of that, and she was in pretty much the same situation as you, and she went along to her local bank manager and gave him a business plan, and he liked it so much that he and his wife went around and helped her paint the office, and the bank manager's wife cooked them scones, and she made the point. She really said, forget about falling in love with a young bloke, or fall in love with your bank manager.
I can concur with that.
Well, what did you think about this? What did you think about this, Danielle, when your mum, there she was, she should have been at home with you, but all of a sudden she started going into this office and setting up this company. And what did you think? I mean,
I was 6 weeks old.
Oh, you were 6 weeks. Okay, so you didn't have much of a choice. No, so you went along in the bassinet, did you?
That's right. That's right. Morning, afternoon, even through my whole schooling, I spent every weekend, or well, not every weekend, but every school holidays and before and after school in the office. And I thought, no, there's no way I'm going to be working in this family business. And out of 4 kids, I'm the only one that's working in the business.
Now, a lot of, I asked the question because I know a lot of career women, they really do worry about the effect their career is going to have on their children when they're away. What do you think of your mum and those times? Did you feel that you were missing out when you were young?
Not really, because she never outsourced the childcare side of things to an angel. She only got organised housekeeping. So we always had her. There was never a time that I felt that I was without a mother or a father. So, it was very important when I was growing up that I didn't miss out.
So there you are, Dena. You've got your $200. You've got a little office, which I believe cost you $20 a week.
It did.
And how did you go about the next step? How did you recruit all those angels, and how long did it take before folk started asking you for your services?
That's a funny story on its own. I was so naive. I put an ad in the North Shore Times, which was the Bible for the North Shore in those years.
This is in North Shore in Sydney. Yeah.
North Shore in Sydney. And I put wanted 100 angels. Think big, Dena? I thought big. I thought out of 100, if I get 5 top ladies, that's what I'm looking for. So the ad went into the North Shore Times. Mr. Hawke, who was the advertising manager there, helped me, and he said, look, we'll put a pretty border around it. You just say what you're looking for. So I did. The phone started ringing on that Wednesday. 22 clients were on my waiting list, and I hadn't taken a call from a prospective worker.
Good heavens.
Unemployment in that time was 1.9%. So there were very few people, but the way I'd worded the ad was I was looking for mature, capable homemakers who'd run their own home. No qualifications needed, just the fact that they had big hearts, wanted to help, and every client, prospective client that saw that ad said, that's just what I want.
Oh, there you go.
So I then had to say to them, look, that ad was slanted towards getting the angels. And they said, well, just put me on a waiting list. So I had this list. And then I got a few inquiries, and eventually, I suppose, I had about 50 people ring in. And of those 50, I took 5. They were the top 5 ladies that I could just see myself utilising in my own home. And they were fantastic. And it was they who built the reputation of the business, because everyone said, I want what she's got.
It is incredible to think, though, isn't it, when for all the people who are starting out in business today, to start out with a client list first who are desperate for the product, and you haven't quite got the product ready.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when you advertise for applicants and you have all these people, I went into a flat panic. What am I going to do with all these people? And, I'm smart enough. I'd been trained in a pharmacy. When you've got clients waiting at the door, you've got to stock your shelves.
Sure.
And that's how it started.
Well, fast forward, 45 years later, tell me how many clients and how many angels you have on your books these days.
We've got more than 10,000 angels registered on our database Australia-wide. We've got more than 40,000 clients who use our services on a regular basis around Australia. So we've got 9 offices. So, yes, it's grown, and nothing's really changed. The demand is always there for angels, and we're always seeking top-quality people to recruit. So we've still got wait lists of clients.
Now, I want to ask Dena this. What are those qualities that you look for, Dena?
Well, I've sort of defined it down to the X factor.
Oh.
And that X factor is someone who is a total, caring, compassionate, hardworking, enthusiastic human being. Those are the major qualities. For specific purposes, like for disabled care or children's care, they have to have a little bit of extra. But and we never turn away anyone with a nice piece of paper as well as good references. But it's mainly the person. I can walk into an interview and say, she's got it. It's just something you can feel. It comes out of applicants. You can tell they're caring, they're compassionate, they're enthusiastic, and they love being called angels.
Where does your service fit in? I mean, I know that the federal government wants to do a lot in the new National Disability Insurance Scheme, and we're talking about the report that's come out about dementia, that we need more aged carers. So where does your scheme fit into that government structure?
We don't, but I'll let Danielle tell you about that because we're not government funded.
Oh, yes, I understand that, but I'm just, what do you think? How does it affect you and what you do?
Long term, if people have choice to use or have care in their own home, then hopefully with the Productivity Commission's report saying that people will have consumer-directed funding, so the government will give each person who is entitled to some sort of funding the money or a voucher, they will then have choice to use an agency. We've been around a long time. We don't get government funding at all.
So that it could represent quite a boost to your business.
Care. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Our main aim is to keep people in their own home for as long as possible.
That's right. That's what the government has just reiterated. They do want people to stay in their own homes. I hear all the time, of course, though, about a huge shortfall in the amount of people who are required in Australia for aged care, especially with dementia. They're supposed to be, quadruple the cases that we have now coming very soon. How would you estimate that shortfall, do you reckon, Dena?
Well, it's a fairly difficult situation. We're so selective in our choice of applicants. We'd probably still, strangely enough, after all these years, take about 1 in 10. And they're the people that really give more than they're paid to give. Our structure with government funding is that we often get referrals, brokerages, to help people with disabilities, to help people in their own home that are aged. But generally, our clientele are people who want the choice of selecting who cares for them.
Okay. So, yes, well, there are, as you say, there are government agency people who go through an enormous amount of training and so forth, but this is another that sits alongside that.
That's right. A lot of the government-funded agencies will broker their services, as Dena was saying, to us, where they can't actually fill the service themselves, and they know that Dial and Angel is very selective. We would rather not fill a booking than put in a substandard applicant, and that's something that we're known for as well.
Okay. What's the future, ladies?
Oh, who knows that's the excitement, Wendy, not knowing what the future holds, because then you can wake up every morning and say, wonder what surprises there are for me today. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a government edict, which means we have to change our whole documentation again, but that's challenge. We thrive on it.
Well, it sounds like you haven't lost your enthusiasm at all, Dena, and that is really the amazing thing to me.
When I have such a wonderful daughter who is enthusiastic, she's inspiring too. And, that keeps me interested. She keeps me in the loop, and we have a wonderful relationship.
Good on you, you two. Look at you two smiling at each other. It's lovely to see. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me today. Dena Blackman, founder of Dial and Angel, and Danielle Robertson, who is her daughter and now the CEO of this amazing company celebrating its 45th birthday, Dial and Angel. Thanks for coming in, ladies.
Thanks,
Thank
Wendy.
you.